You don't have podcasts. Nobody's listening to a podcast group of people who they wouldn't want to hang out with.
For sure.
Unless they like hate watching.
It's really, when it comes to podcasts, and it's all about, hey, well, how can I take regular conversation and turn it into something that we can monetize? Because I think that's why everybody's
that's why everybody trying to monetize.
It's like, oh, wait, this is a solid conversation which we want to share with everybody, and that's how the whole men with podcasts and the whole.
I think I'm interesting.
Yeah, when I always tell people, and I told someone in the US too, I was like, wait, everybody want to get in podcasting, but you don't know how hard it is to talk constantly about different things for long periods of time without you regurgitating the same talking points over and over.
Or even if you do, it's fine because people are like, here we go again. Right?
Yeah.
Don't get them started on this topic or whatever. Like, nah, nigga, Piccolo is black. Right? Y'all need to respect that, right? So it's like, on that, people think it's easy, but I think one of the disservices that we do in general in life, especially as, I guess, creatives,
is minimize like effort and work.
But the thing is, we make it look easy, and so people then devalue it because they'll be like, "Oh, edit this for me," and then you'll be like, "Okay," and then you give it back to them an hour, and it's better than they thought of it's better than what they could have asked you for because they couldn't conceive that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, "Oh, it only take you an hour to edit this," and they don't realize, no, that's just because your skill level that it's an hour, but it still should be worth this much. But now they feel like, why should I pay you? You only working on an hour. You ain't working this for 3 days. This wasn't like a long situation. And so all those different things, sometimes I feel like they play against us. Because even like somebody, like you say, somebody sitting down and talking about stuff forever and ever and ever. Bro, I can show you in my phone where I feel like, you know Patrick, because you've seen the shows, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I know. I'm starting there because I feel like I've known y'all
for a
long time, but that's because it's like a lot of people in the same social group that know each other. Is like because you've been around for such a long time. It's like, I never spoke to this person, but I've seen them and seen their work. So it's like I have an idea of the person now. It's like, okay, let me sit down and actually engage with this person on a intellectual level, or just even just a baseline level, and then it's like you go from there. But actually, we were supposed to go back to camera one,
so you can start do your show.
So, welcome to another episode of Erryting Kool. We have been missing. I think the last episode I did was April 8th. Yeah, and it was with Shad. So you're wondering why you're so inconsistent with Erryting Kool. I understand that. It's been actually 2019. Actually, I just saw a memory post from 2018, me talking about the Original People Network coming soon in 2018 and it launched 2019. I've been doing this for a very long time, almost going into about 7 years now, 6-7 years. And EK used to drop twice a month, and now you probably get 5 episodes a year. But do not fret, because I had to understand it's quality over quantity. And I can't follow up the Shad Fur interview, which, after he clipped it up, it went viral when he was talking about how most Bahamians carry on knives, and now in the ethos of Bahamiandom, well, more so on the TikTok streets, we're known for having people are asking, does the school uniform come with gold fronts and a big coin chain? And
bro,
so
anyway, go ahead.
Lo and behold, we have Steven Hanna, also known as Shin Win. Someone had to tell me that's how it's pronounced, because I was saying Shin Nugan for the longest.
It's fine. it's my own fault for picking a name that nobody can pronounce as well.
So we have Steven Hanna in the building today on Erryting Kool.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach. but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
Before we get to the topic at hand, we always have a special segment called the Bahamian word, phrase, or saying of the day. And it could be anything of the all three, an amalgamation of all three. You could pick and choose and refuse if you want to.
Oh, I'm supposed to give you a phrase. I mean, honestly, the only thing I've been thinking about was, or recently is, the word bae. And I know that feels super cliche, but I'm trying to figure out, is bae a pronoun? And then it's like, no, right? It's not a pronoun. But what do you call that thing when, because it's kind of a noun, right?
You talking about in our original context, or you talking about in our context?
I'm talking about in the Bahamian context.
Okay.
I'm not talking about like, because I know that
like bae is in Turkish language
is
like
governor, right? Yeah, so it's like king man, like.
And we sort of follow that up because we always give each other like these
honorific titles.
Yeah,
right. No, so, I get that, but I mean, within the Bahamian context, when you say this bae or bae, and like you calling somebody, it feels like it could just be an exclamation, but it feels like it's more than an exclamation, you know. So it's like, what is bae? Is the pronoun of every Bahamian bae? Like, is it he, him, bae? Anyway, that's a random thought I just was having. That's like shower thought. So
I mean, she could be a bae. I think everybody bae is not a genderless.
It's neutral.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So it's more about the intensity of the moment than anything else. You know what I mean? Because you don't really use, bae is not a soft word. You don't use bae.
Like, you're like whispering, bae.
Right.
Not you do.
No, but the emotion is intense if you do that. It's like, bae, I cannot believe this. Right? You understand? But like, I don't see it being a thing where it's like, it has to be an intense emotion.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but you know.
No, I don't think it comes in any light manner. Like, it's always, whether it's spoken aloud or softly spoken, it always have some excitement behind it, right. Or like it's like a setup to like really tell a grand story or whatever.
Right, and so I mean that's the thing that's been on my mind, bae. And then also it's one of the few things where, despite we can argue about how to spell it because we don't have a codified, what is it called? Our language has not been codified in terms of how you spell things, all right? And then because we live on various islands, you have this crystallization happening where pronunciations differ from region to region, which is fine. We would differ on all that stuff, but we do all have a mutual understanding of the word bae.
Yeah.
And so it's like conch. You don't have to eat conch to recognize conch as a national symbol.
For sure.
And so
but I try to figure out when all these other spellings come into play. Because
what happens is if everybody's in their own corner, right? And there is no, like in Jamaica, they'll teach you, they teach patois. So it's like there's a standard spelling of certain Jamaican words.
Okay.
Haitian Creole, there's a standard spelling of the words, right? But in Bahamian Creole English, we don't have a standard spelling. We don't teach it in schools. We teach standard English in schools, right? So when you, especially because of things like Facebook, where now we type in more and we text in more, you're using your language and then you just got to figure out how to spell it. And so whichever version of it works best for your group, it's going to be a different thing. So while dread will always be DREAD. Yeah, because the thing is, I older you, so I'm going to spell dread, the full dread. Y'all drop the A, and then the people after y'all don't even spell it with a DR. They spell it JED.
No, yeah, because it's like the enunciation, Jed.
Yeah, right. And so it's like everybody chooses to do it differently, and it's only the beauty of it is we are mutually intelligible when we speak to each other.
Now, when it's writing, it's a whole different other story.
Right, but it's like, but if you are talking to another Bahamian, you can communicate and you can commune as a Bahamian, as two Bahamians. So that I think the beauty of the language is it requires us to speak to each other. Like you can't, if you cut somebody off, then it's like you can't really communicate with them in Bahamian.
Well, true enough. Because to your point, that probably comes to where, okay, so why I said it is I didn't know the note to spell because even when like going into social studies in school, they were spelling boy, B-E-Y. So that's where I learned how to spell it. Yeah. So when I think when the boom of social media, that's when everybody started like, okay, I'm going to spell it B-U-I or B-E-I or B-O-U-Y.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Laugh at Peas and Rice the Punch had specific spellings for different words. So they had a way that they used to spell bungie. Because they always used to put bungie inside Through the Grapevine or on the front page where White MP found out East. Sweetheart say her bungie bigger than his wife bungie. Right? Like that'll be a front page story. And so now you buying it to find out, what? And like they'll find a way to throw the word bungie in there 4 or 5 times. It was Ivan Butler, right? Is it Butler? Ivan Johnson, sorry. Yeah. All right? So it's like they find a way to put the word bungie in it multiple times. So they used to throw these Bahamian words in there and they had specific spellings for it. But then other people would spell it. So if they spell it that way, and then somebody make a book with Bahamian poetry or whatever, they spell it a different way. And depending on which one, as a child, you absorbed, you might have bungie with no U and a Y, or bungie with 2 O's and a G-E-I, and it's like the different way, the same word ends up coming out different ways.
So do you think we could actually at this point we could standardize any of these terms, or it's just open for interpretation?
We could, but the problem is, language is one of those things. Anything that somebody gets in their formative years, it is difficult for them to take the L and say, we're going to leave that version behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It has to be organically. This is the most popular version that is used, and so we accept this version. That's the most you could do, but you can't ever tell people saying, "Okay, don't spell dread like that no more." Because, bro, it's like religion. Like people will fight.
I never seen dread spelled no D-R-E-A-D though.
That's how I spell it. That's how I spell it.
No, like, but for real, and I seen dread because it's like. Growing up, I heard people enunciate it like that.
Right. The first time I see somebody spell that, I say, "Wait, what are you writing? That's Jad." Like, no, yeah, babe. Like, you're Jad, babe. What do you know? And I was offended, but like that's one of the things. Like,
it's almost like switching the W's with the V's.
But see, that is a specific feature of. I mean, it happens in a lot of languages, right? Yeah. And I see this is the part where having only taken that one linguistic class out of boredom and not remembering all the different things inside it, but it's a thing that happens, right? And so that's a language feature. For some people, it's a, what do you call it? A speech impediment, but then for some people, that is just how it's pronounced in their culture, in their region.
That's true. I feel like even though some of us don't have natural speech impediments, we acquire speech impediments.
That's also possible.
Because it's like, okay, we can say these words. Like yours. People don't say yours, they say yoins.
Yeah, but that's unlearned. So you have to unlearn things. So because we don't have it written down, if you are reading something and nobody is stopping you, it's very easy to say, you reading it on the paper and you're saying the dog gone. And I'm trying to think of a sentence. Okay, let's say you're saying the person is walking across the street. The person is walking across the street. There's nothing wrong with either version of those things, but I dropped the G in one of them, and it wouldn't be until somebody's like, if you're reading the news, then you would hear it. You'd be like,
walking.
The prime minister was found walking across the boulevard. Like, would you? the Prime Minister is doing what? Right? Inside certain situations, you will hear it. But like other than that, because inside your mind, you're pronouncing it correctly. We've always pronounced walking as walking. And so you don't pick up on it. And because there's no written distinction between the two of them, it just becomes a pronunciation. And then it becomes difficult to pronounce it in the standard way. Because there are words that I struggle with because I've been pronouncing this word this way since I was 4. You really want me to come turn around and try and pronounce this word?
Or like how we used to make fun of other like West Indian people, like they instead of saying vegetables, they say vegetables.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
My English teachers inside high school, it was like they ate. You ate something. You know, you don't eat, you ate. And so it's like, hey man.
Oh man.
Okay. The last thing. The funniest thing was when I was in grade, it might have been 7 or I think it's grade 7, right? To even describe it to you, I have to describe it to you inside Bahamian.
Okay.
So somebody braced me with a tennis ball, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't playing parking. I walk inside. I get braced, right?
Yeah.
And I say, well, and so I go on to the teacher to report it, right? It's during break. I go into the where the teachers meet, the teachers lounge.
The teachers lounge.
That's like lounge.
The
Anyway, the teachers lounge.
Yeah.
Understand? At Prince Will at the time, I think that I don't think none of the teachers inside there was Bahamian.
Wait. So you graduated from Prince Will?
From high school, yeah.
See, now we're getting closer, but continue. We'll put a pin on that.
What happened is, I go in there and I'm like, oh, he parked me. And they're like, what? And it's like, I can't remember who it was. It's like, let's say Jason. Jason parked me just now. He did what to you? Like, what are you saying? And it wasn't until I realized that they didn't understand what the word park was.
Yeah.
I was like, he hit me with a ball.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But like, complete and that word and the use of it, I'm certain that it came from somewhere and it feels very European. It doesn't feel like a West African word that we held on to.
Like juk.
Right. It feels like this is probably some European word that we changed. It probably was a verb. It was a verb or it was a noun, and we turned it to a verb or something. But it's like, yeah, everybody don't use the word park, and so everybody don't know about parking. And let's not talk about our brothers to the north. We were confused. All right, so.
So let's go from the beginning, because see, would you say that you're a very hilarious person?
No, I wouldn't.
Because it's like, obviously the backstory how me and Steven sort of finally after many years met up is because we work on a podcast on a place that not shall be named because they ain't giving me no money for this, but. And essentially, it's like, when you're drafting up a show and things like that, and coming up with, I guess, some of the highlighting points and sort of describing you is like, okay, you have highbrow conversations, and the humor may seem to be dry, but as if you understand the scenario, it's hilarious because how you construct it, it's like, and it's like, and it's witty. So, and obviously, if you have an audience that is sort of dumbed down and everything that they find humorous is more slapstick,
right? A
lot of names will fly over their head.
Right. No, I mean, that's the thing. So, I guess humor is subjective. Why am I saying I guess? Humor is subjective.
Yeah, just like
you gotta know your audience, right? And so, while I do have the capability of doing broad humor, I also I don't want to underrate people, right?
Man.
And I think that for a long time, I'm trying to condense the thought that's in my head.
Man.
so I think that for a lot of people, they think that we won't explain this to Bahamians, or we can't do this with Bahamians, or Bahamians wouldn't get this because the average Bahamian isn't smart enough. But at the same time, you'd be surprised how many Bahamians, and it don't matter where you go. Like you think, okay, this person graduated from this private school that costs almost 6 figures a year.
Nah.
They should understand what this movie is about, and they just like, I don't get it, I don't understand, or whatever. Like they're just they just speak standard English, but they're not doing any deep dives in anything. And then you have somebody who barely get out of high school, and you like, but this dude, he just is fixed car, but he ain't really know nothing, whatever. And then, oh no, but this dude sit down and watch Cloud Atlas, and that's his favorite movie. And then he's doing the comparison between that and the Hindu rebirth cycle. And you're like, we underrate people with the assumption because they're either from an area or because we didn't click on this thing that they wouldn't get this other thing. And so I do it all the time, right? And I try to stop myself. And so the reason that I try to stop myself is I talk about linguistics. So when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, right, I did a linguistic class at COB. And we had to read this book, Pigeons and Creoles, John Holmes. He's the guy who wrote the Bahamian dictionary, right? He came down in the 70s, compiled, went around the different islands, heard all the different words that Bahamians were saying, wrote it down, said these are the definitions. COB has the copyright to it. It's up to them to print more or less or any at all.
So
that
book is out of circulation right now, or?
And it's up to them to print it.
Oh, okay.
They have a version of it online, but the thing is, it's so far. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's the whole different thing.
Yeah.
He did a bunch of work. He had a textbook that's separate from that book. And like when I say, I spent days trying to get through chapter 1 of this book because it's like so dense, and I'm trying to understand it. And I'm struggling. I put the book down. Now this one I was like, essentially I was living in a studio somewhere, and almost everybody else in the studio, like half of us in the studio was just young college kids.
Hold on, what studio is this? It's like an art studio, or
no,
this like a music studio?
Music
Okay.
type situation, right? And so it's like half of us who was there was college kids, and the other half of us was people who had been deported out of the United States after serving time in U.S. penitentiary, right? So, right? Give or take, there was some other people there too, but I'm saying like it was that was the mix.
Okay.
It was like, so I leave the book, I go, I give up, walk off. I come back an hour or two later, this dude reading this book, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, Tibet, at this point, I've never thought of this dude as anybody besides, he's somebody's nephew, right? He smoked weed, he ain't going through nothing deep or whatever. Like, this book ain't for him. I was like, and in my, I don't know if it was condescending, I was confused. Like, you reading this? It's like on chapter 3. Right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you understand the saying? And then he explains to me the thing that I've been struggling to understand for hours. I was there for hours. I couldn't get through this, right? But if you meet this dude, you'd be like, oh, you're just a regular nigga. And like, he treated himself like a regular nigga because I don't think anybody in his life ever was like, bro, it ain't that you're not dumb. It's just that the questions you asking, we don't have the answers for. And so you be on us. But we don't rate you because ain't nobody else around here to rate.
So basically, he is misunderstood.
Right. Like, this nigga's smarter than me. But I the one in college, and he the one, just trying to make it through life, trying to find an odd job here and there. And so because of an experience like that, my life moving forward is like, I'll make whatever joke I want to make. And if we're going to talk about things in depth, I rather talk about something in depth. You don't think of it as a joke, but it make you say, okay, whatever, than to dumb everything down. And then I'm upset later on when I'm like, hey, niggas don't know nothing. Because, like, case in point, bro, where's Burma Road?
It's supposed to be where Blake Road is.
No, but that's the thing.
Isn't Blake? Well, not Blake. Yeah, I think they say that.
And so people think that because the airport is out there.
Yeah, but the airport used to be in Oaksfield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the point. It's like,
Man.
but these are like things that you know, but now somebody who born after the year 2000 would have never known
People
about
born
any
by
airport.
1980, bro.
Bro, but it's like...
Well, let me not say 80, 90.
Right, but it's like, so all these different things that people were unaware of because they didn't experience it, nobody ever told them, and now we're like, oh, you don't even know about this, you don't know about that, and it's like, yeah, because nobody ever tell them, nobody know who, like you're talking about Oaksfield, right, because of ZNS because ZNS before a certain point had a responsibility that they took seriously about educating people. They were constantly let's make all our interstitials educational. So Harry Oakes was born and he made and Oaksfield is named after him. And the cenotaph, like, we know that stuff because ZNS would play that all the time before and after the news. We know about the arch, St. Gregory, what is that St. Gregory's arch? The arch downtown on Shirley Street before you get by Government House.
You talking about around the curve by the Kirk?
Yes, after the Kirk, there's an arch that used to be a quarry,
yeah,
and all that. Like, but that's the information that we know because niggas have made short videos for us when we was kids, and we watched them. They don't play them no more because they probably like 240 resolution, a dead smudgy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But without that stuff, then you get people constantly not knowing stuff.
You know people that don't even know about chalks or even coral world.
Exactly. And
yeah, so it's like, relics. A time I remember when I was like 4 or 5, they used to have speedboat racing in the Nassau Harbor.
But that's stuff where because you experience it.
Yeah.
And it's like they used to have actual racing on Bay Street, like around that area. Like where the bridge is and stuff, right?
Yeah,
but,
okay.
like
West
the actual
Street,
road
East
races.
Street, yeah.
Right, but it's like these stuff that it's on us to not just be like, okay, I don't think this nigga can get it, so I ain't even gonna talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I'd rather him say, but what you mean by X, Y, and Z, rather than me underrate him. And so that's the reason why I guess it's high. I mean, it seems highbrow, but it's not really highbrow. It's just not as broad as screaming bogey in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, or it's not on the nose.
Right.
So it's like you have to think about it and know about it to be like that. Okay, I made the connection.
Don't get me wrong though. I have had people come up to me like, I had a show in 2018. Yeah, I think in 2018 I had a show, and like the next week I went to go shoot something, and this guy who was a vendor, he's like, "Oh, I've been to your show last week, because my coworkers bought tickets for all us to go," and they was laughing and laughing. I was like, "I don't understand. This nigga boring." Right? And it's like unprovoked, I asked him that. He's like, I was like, "This boring. I don't understand nothing you're talking about." And they was dead and laughing. I don't understand.
Oh man.
I'm like,
no, but it's like I say, because how you set up things is like, I remember it was a couple of things, even with the recent episode that you were called a sidebar with the Mortal Kombat and swinging it away from, and the thing about it is, the great thing about it is when you mentioned, I think it's Gotcha, or I forget what the Thunder Rolling Ball character.
Oh no, see, it's Street Fighter,
Yes,
Blanca.
Blanca.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, they had mentioned this character on a Joe Budden podcast about how they was making fun of one of the co-hosts and saying he like Blanca, how he fight at the Rolling Thunder. So that's why I was like, okay, you have to, something as small as that, you have to understand the correlation to a point if you're using that reference. Me as the consumer have to understand that point of reference that you're using. And that's what made the joke funny, because now you have this visual representation
of what it is,
what you're speaking about.
Yeah.
So,
then sometimes people just don't get it.
So let's go in the beginning. We done almost 30 minutes in. tell us the beginning, because you said, okay, what was life like with you growing up, going to Princeville, and then you going to COB? Because I feel like the first time I've heard of you and saw you, I was at COB, and it was like, oh, okay, this older boy in Moscom or whatever.
Yeah, that's very possible. Because like I was in COB forever.
That's why I was like, I didn't want to say it, but it was like,
because like, bro, I poured, dog. Like
let's just take it from the beginning.
Of life. That's a long story. No, but like I mean, growing up is I don't have the context of other people's lives to be like, oh, it was like everybody else. But I mean, I was at Princeville from grade 7 and 8. Grade 9, I was at CH Reeves. And then they decided to send me back to Princeville because teachers at CH Reeves is like when I say multiple teachers at CH Reeves said, please tell your parents to send you back to Princeville. You should not be here. All right?
Because they felt you was just too brilliant to be in government school?
That's how they felt, right? And the weird thing is like, I wasn't even in the top stream. I was, because you got streams inside school. So like, I was in the first class of the second stream, right? But they were like, and that's the other thing. At Princeville, our PE grade did not impact our actual grade. So PE was a letter grade. Yeah. You do good in PE, great. But I ain't gonna impact your grade. You do bad in PE, okay. But they ain't gonna impact your grade. Yeah. At TH Reeves, that was a percentage of your grade. Wow. So I got 2.0 every term at CH Reeves.
Just for PE?
No.
Because of PE?
Because PE brought down my grade.
From what to what?
I don't know, but I get F. Like I failed PE, bro. Oh. And like they had exams for PE where they're like, when was basketball invented? And it's like, y'all niggas never taught us this. I wish I was making it up when I say I have a very specific, clear memory of the coach going over to the star athlete who was also in my grade, giving him a sheet of paper to memorize as many answers as possible. Oh. Before we took the exam. Like, I have that memory in my head. And I refuse to believe I made that up. Right? I watched the athletes get the paper, and it's not a cheat sheet, because this is actually just the marking paper. This is the answer. Remember 1950. Remember this. Remember that. Yeah. And so they there for like 30 minutes trying to trying to maintain this thing in their head. And then they got, volleyball was invented by who? Nigga, what? And so
I used to have those questions on a PE or an RP exam.
Bro, that's not a...
No, but why did PE weigh so much to put you down to all the way to 2.0?
Bro.
So what you was getting in your other...
I was failing hard in PE. I mean, that's the thing. And so it ain't I don't consider myself a genius. Oh, also, technical vocation. Okay. I did not do well in that.
Like technical drawing, woodwork?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That was the first time I ever did it. So it wasn't that I wasn't interested or I couldn't do it. It was like everybody else is a world-class pianist. And I come in there like, I know how to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I'm like, wait, 1 second, let me start over. That's me. And so I think I got maybe I got D's inside technical vocation, but I know I failed PE. Okay. PE that's a hard fail. I don't even think I ever, you play in different sports. Yeah. I don't think I ever played a sport in PE. I think what happened in PE was they would just say, you and Alpheus go do laps. And we'd just walk around the field every PE until it was time to stop. So I went back to Princeville. No, because the bio teacher was like, "Oh man, you're smart." The book that we were using for English in grade 9, we had finished in Princeville in grade 7. Wow. And nobody sits down and say, "Oh, Princeville is the Ivy League of being private schools," but it's that's how far apart that we were at that point. I don't know what it's like now, but that's how far apart we was.
It's probably worse now compared to, because the more proliferation of private schools and
right. So now with with that information. So that's why they're like, please send this nigga back. Right? Because like he's not. You're doing him more damage having him here because these.
Which year this was, by the way?
That'd been 2000.
So, and I always like to make this point when people talk about the.
Well, no, I think I came back to Prince in 2000, so like 99, going in 2000. Yeah.
I always like to make this point to people when it comes to the brain drain that we've been facing in this country. This man just said this happened in 1998, and we still facing the same problems in 2025. So I always like to say, we done lost a whole generation. You can really chalk it up to be like, bro, it's been a 25-year...
Longer.
Okay.
Longer.
30 years of people not being effectively educated.
I mean, so the thing is, it's so much, it's different things that play to that, but yes, you're right. And like, I wouldn't put it all, I can't put it on the teachers because there's only so much the teachers can do. If you have a class with 30 to 50 people inside it, right? It's only so much you can do. And that's one class out of your day. You got like
other classes.
5 other classes you got to hit, right? So it's that people come into class, they don't have no equipment to do anything. These kids are coming from different environments. So you have one child coming from a loving environment. The parents are wonderful and supportive. And then you have another kid in the same class, same age and everything. And they coming from turmoil. Yeah. Right? And I ain't even talking about the economics. They're just talking about like just mass turmoil happening, people being abused and all. So it's like, it's so much different stuff that sometimes they're just happy to get through the day. Right? And you're trying to find something for the kid that works for them, but they were failed 3-5 grades back. And now it's like, the most you can do is like, but let's see if we can just get you to this level so that you can at least be able to do something for yourself, right? I also feel like there are parents who, this is going to sound very horrible, but...
No, you got to say it, but you got to speak truth to power.
Some parents too young.
Well, that's true.
And when I say they're too young, I don't... Do you have grandparents? Even Grammy was 13 when she got married. Right? I mean, but then she lived to be like in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Like deep in the 90s. So it was a different time. But at the same time, right, she had these children. They raised them. They were productive members of society. She had grandchildren. And so it's like, that's one thing, right? But at the same time, now we have people who graduate and they could still remember high school. And part of it is also because if you don't have new experiences, then whatever the last big experience is, that's the memory that's forming, right? And so you remember high school vividly. And I cannot remember the names of teachers. Like, I don't remember every teacher I had. I remember some of the teachers, but I can't remember every teacher, right? But there are people who can remember every single teacher they had, every single person who was inside their class, and they have these memories. Oh, the teacher did this, and they just make us do this homework. And then the kid comes home, and the kid is saying the same thing. And high school just happened to them. And whether they are actually young mentally or young actually, them parents who push back and saying, oh, don't about, because this ain't even about beating, because they ain't even beating children no more.
For sure.
Right? It's like, oh, they don't talk to my child hard, blah, blah. And so now the children know, you can't do me nothing. My mommy will come and punch your head off.
Yeah. No, but the thing about it is, even with high school and things like that, I think I always have this thing where I feel like most people that are in their 40s, 50s now, they stop mentally growing after 18. Like they stop between 18 and 25.
Yeah, because if you don't have nothing to challenge you, what is there to grow? Like, if it's like a video game, the only thing left to do is have children, and they make it 18, and then you retire, and then you're dead. Because like you've run out of things to accomplish, and there are people who don't have hobbies or they don't create. Like, we say hobbies, but I mean
extracurricular activities.
Right, you need something, right? Yeah. And so it could literally be gardening. It could be woodwork. It could be going for a run. It could be anything, right? For a lot of us, it's making stuff, right? On some level. But if you don't have anything else except juicing and making children, right? And now that becomes your thing. It's like, there's no more. I've arrived. It's the wall here. I have a house that I need to pay for, or an apartment I'm renting.
Bills,
right? And then that's adulthood. And it's like, and they don't see, okay, maybe we need to figure a way around this. How could we change society? No, this is what adults do. We've arrived.
This is powerful. So you went back to Princeville,
yeah.
Graduated from Princeville, and I assume that you started UB in 2004.
3.
Okay, you started UB in 2003.
Right.
So,
but I was so when my grandmother was alive in 2003, but then she died in 2004. My Grammy was the one. My grandmother and my sister split the bill for Princeville, right? For me to go to Princeville. And then my grandma's like, oh, you got to go to college. You know, everybody need to go to college. Because she was a teacher. All right? And so she's like, college is important, blah, blah, blah. But then she got sick. She died. And then it's like, ain't nobody have no money to send you to college. So now, from 2004 forward, I'm taking like one class a semester because I got to do work study. And I got to it wasn't until later on where I developed a skill that I could make money from, to hustle to make a couple extra dollars so that I could take more than one class. But that'd have been after 2000 and literally around 2009 or 10 is when I finally am able to start taking more than one class. At one point I dropped out of school because I was like, this ain't making no sense or whatever. But yeah, that's how come our times crossed, because I would have been out of school otherwise before then.
So, because obviously I graduated high school in 2010. What was what was going through your mind between that 7-year period?
I just was, because I have the benefit of nobody expecting anything of me. And so, in a way, it's a blessing and a curse, because nobody expects nothing of you, you kind of have to make your own path. Nobody was ever oh, you gotta be like your old man. You gotta go do this, or why don't you do this?
That's the next question, because you said your sister and your grandmother. So what happened to
my parents? I mean, my mother just wasn't paying.
Okay,
because because she went to college, but then she dropped out of college, so she don't look at it in the same way. As a matter of fact, I think that's a weird thing, because I think my grandmother had a bachelor's, right? Which is weird. This woman from Auckland have a bachelor's degree.
Stand up. 3/4 of my family from that great place. Which part of Auckland?
I want to say Spring Point, but it might be Selena Point.
Okay,
one of them. One of the points.
Still closer to the north than the south. So
I couldn't tell you which way it's up or down. But yeah, so my grandma had a BA, but then she wanted her kids to go, but then for various reasons they never finished college.
So all of her children never finished college.
Right.
Okay.
But then she's definitely she wanted her grandkids to finish college and do X, Y, and Z or whatever, right? And so, I mean, all her grandkids went to college, if I remember correctly. I think so.
So during this time, because how I asked that question is certain thoughts had to be going through your mind through that. In every mind's life, it's you go through this period of trying to figure out why are you on this earth, and what you like, and what's your hobbies, and what's your philosophy.
So by 2005, I knew what I wanted to. So originally I wanted to be a vet. I took a class in pre-cal, Mr. Dunko, or Dr. Dunko. I think he's a doctor. I don't even know. He's an engineer. I'm trying to not be offensive and do the voice. He's a very African man, right?
Okay.
And he'd tell us stuff like, "Oh, guys, what is happening? When I was young, I would sit in the tree and eat cocoa beans to stay awake. and blah, blah. And I was like, he'd say all type of weird stuff, right? And taking this class, because like, you know, this is how you get your biochem degree, right? You got to take this class. One person was passing the class, right? Everybody, and there are people inside this class who they got an A inside BGCSE math. They got the full A. We know that they good at math. They were failing. Everybody, so me, all the way down to the bottom of the list. I know, I'm like, I struggling. And he'd be like, as he passed out the work, he'd be like, oh, as I was, not specifically to me, you know, this just to everybody. He's like, oh, when I was marking you guys' paper, I almost vomited. It was so horrible. It's just, what is this? This is disgusting, right? And so he's passing out the papers, and midterm exam, I get the paper back, and like I've been studying, I've been killing myself, racking my brain trying to get this, and like I get the paper back, and I'm like, oh, I did it. You know, we turned the corner, we got like, hey, this is working. Like I finally get this good grade or whatever, right? When I say an hour after leaving the class, it hit me. Nigga, you got 45%. But that's how bad the other grades was. That 45%, I might as well get an A at that point. Right? And I was like, but like now that I'm out and I walk in and my brain is like, yo, you still fail, nigga. I was like, maybe biochem ain't for me. So I literally...
I was on that path too, but good thing I realized before college that I ain't going to, because I was doing AP courses in high school and I was failing, bombing them. So I was like, well,
this ain't for me. Yeah. And so that's how I ended up inside journalism. Because like that's when I was like, okay, if I can't be a vet, what do I want to be? And it's like, I want to work in television, right? And then so, because I remember it was either the dean of liberal arts or somebody was like, oh, you want to switch from natural science to humanities? You know, they're very different. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. Like, I ain't switching because I want more to see it. Like, but that's how I ended up inside that. And so, like, by 2005 is when I start making. That's the first video that I made, and I have that memory because it wasn't like cameras.
Hold on, what was the?
It was literally just me and a friend. This is how jokey it was. It was a webcam attached to a laptop.
Okay, so y'all
we was walking around interviewing people, and it's like, and we had to run it through Microsoft Movie Maker.
Ah, the good old days.
Right, but it's like, and like from that, like that's the first time I made a video. I mean, looking back on it, it's like, good God, Steven, what's this American accent? And then also, because you know, all this used to slip into, it's your boy.
Yeah, it's your boy, this and that and that.
Right, and so, but I mean, that's when I first started doing video, and yeah, pretty much to that. So my backup is to become a garbage man. Like my goals in life have nothing to do with each other.
Okay,
they're just like what I see myself
being able to do.
Right.
So okay, so 05, obviously. So by the time, when did you graduate from COB?
I graduated from mass communications in 2007. Then I was like, well, there's an associate's. And then everybody's like, well, you can't really do that with associates. You should probably just keep going and get a bachelor's. Because like at this point, the way the world is turning, an associate's essentially...
It's becoming irrelevant.
Right. It's just like having a high school diploma. So you might as well get the bachelor's or whatever, right? And so I was like, okay, there's no bachelor's in journalism. I guess I'll get it in English. And like when I say a year and a half of just struggling and feeling like I wasn't getting F. I was getting like C minuses and stuff. And it's like, wait, is this just not for me? And like, I don't really want to study English. I want to do television. And so like I dropped out of school. This lady named Andrea begged me to go back to school. And then my high school English teacher was then teaching at COB. She begged me to come back to school because they're like, you have to finish it. You have to, like, don't drop out and don't let this be the end or whatever. And so, Miss Higgins, all right? So I go back, and when I go back to school after taking a year off, after dropping off for a year, right? I was like, I'm coming back, but I'm never going to. I think I came back in 2010. So like in 2009, I was out of school.
So fall 2010.
Yeah, so me
So
and you
I
probably
guess
came
that's
back
what
the same
everybody
time.
say, yeah.
Right. So I was like, I'm never going to look at the grades. I'm only going to take stuff that I care about. And like that's just how I did the rest of my school experience. And it wasn't until it was time to graduate that my advisor, Dr. Tony Francis, she was like, so, okay, what's your grades looking like? Because you got to fill out the form.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh,
So you
I've not seen my grades since I came back. Right? And she's like, how could you do it? Suppose you need to do a class over. Like, I don't think I need to do any over. Right? And then come to find out, bro, I think I was on the dean's or the president's list or something, and I didn't even know. Like, because I wasn't doing it for a grade no more. It's like, I'm literally only taking stuff that I care about. Like, I'm not. So I took a bunch of English. That's how I ended up in linguistics, because I was like, okay. And then British lit, then American lit. You do different stuff, whatever, for the English program. But it's like, and even when it comes to, I think the teachers also appreciated that Steven is not going to write an essay about something that Steven finds boring. And just generally speaking, when you're inside college, what tends to happen is, because you're kind of still in the high school mindset, even if you're not, that you get to eat whenever you want and dress however you want. But you still, if the teacher say, write a 8-page essay on Bahamian history, you go in and picking up a Gale Saunders book and saying, okay, what chapter 3 is, let me write on this, whatever. As opposed to saying, okay, Bahamian history is anything that happened before this moment. I just got to find stuff to prove it.
Actually, I'm glad you brought it up, because I think that's what helped me through when I was in college, when I went to art school and was being forced to think outside the box. Yeah. So I started making it mine to where it's like, all right, if I'm going to do a report, because I took art history for like a whole year, like art history 1, 2, 3, and contemporary art. And it came to a point where I just was like, okay, I hear what you say in class, but I'm going to give you more information right. I find. And Kurt and my professor loved that, Professor Hawkins and Professor Lee, like, because it was like, it's like, more than what I was teaching.
Right.
And it's like, I know, okay, this is what you're passionate about and things like that. So,
and honestly, if you want to win the teacher over, though, all you got to do is show that you actually, I care about the subject.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to wing it or whatever. And that's also how come me and, I'm going to call him Dr. Bethel, but Felix Bethel, like a controversial figure, but it's like he was one of the first classes that I ever took, and like literally up until like the year he died, like we still would talk. Like whenever he saw me, he's like, "Oh, Hannah, what's going on?" And then like he'd want to sit down and chat and stuff. Like, because honestly, sometimes I think what happens for teachers at some point, they want you to push back, but push back with sense.
Yeah.
Like,
because they want that intellectual sparring. Right.
Because I've been teaching this now I've been teaching English for this long. Write me a crazy essay. Like Dr. Allen, Dr. David Allen's wife, Victoria Allen. The first essay that I wrote for her was men are smarter than women. Or men are better than women or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, I loved it. Because like, how you got, it was satirical. Man. The entire thing was satirical. Which is something you only get away with in English 119. But yeah. But like, that's the way you gotta, not finagle the system, but like, find something that you find interesting. Because then everything becomes easier that way.
So do you think you only have that freedom in liberals? Because I feel like, the experience you describing is like something similar to when I was in like script writing classes. And it's like, everything is predicated. It ain't about the fundamentals that you've been taught. It's just about how far your mind can go to impress. And it's almost like you're selling your ideology and what you come up with and your idea to the professor and how they react to it. Yeah. And they agree on the scale of how intriguing, whether they agree or not. Like, okay, how would this compare to something that's already out in the professional world?
Right.
So it's like, you know, and then like you gain that freedom because now you're like, okay, I ain't holding myself to whatever rubric or whatever. I'm just expressing myself in this way using the foundational elements.
Right. And then also, I think that the benefit of that is like you get to interrogate your own position, or your position gets interrogated, and you get to interrogate existing positions. Right. I think that that's the benefit of the humanities in general. So when you talk about like art and English and even history and sociology and stuff like that, well, they're not. Are they the humanities?
Yeah. So, well, I don't know sociology, psychology, anthropology.
Yeah, those are the social sciences.
Yeah.
But the social sciences
so they're in the same
kind of encourage it.
Yeah.
The liberal art, the liberal vibes over here on this side, they definitely go in that direction. And I think that it benefits because you'll have people who will be doctors and they'll believe the craziest things once you leave the realm of science. Right? Like once you leave the realm of science, they think you like I always find it intriguing when I find a doctor who's racist or xenophobic. Because it's like, but you only know human beings as human beings.
Yeah.
So where is your prejudice coming from? Because you know that at the end of the day, we're all the same. So how could you think that this group of people is just this way? Like, to me, that's always weird when I see that happen. But it's because they're not taught to interrogate themselves or what they're told. They're taught this is what it is. And so whatever they observe is what they observe, and that's the end of the story. And they're not interrogating it enough unless they write in a paper to say, let me get 1,000 Haitians before I make this decision. Let me this is my sample size. And they're not, unless they write in the paper, they're not going to do that. So they're just saying, yeah, man, I was told this and I saw it once. And so that's enough for me, you know, but that's my thought on that. But that's how I got to COB.
So when, because obviously by 2012 for winter, I had moved to the U.S.
Right.
to go to the Art Institute of Atlanta. So
2012 was when I took it would probably be spring 2012 when I took my final class at COB, and I only took that class because I was short one credit, which we discovered when we finally looked at my grades. Right, I took a class called Music Keyboard or something, Introduction, with Chris Justillion.
Okay.
And it was 2 credits. The dean told me, that'll be fine. And I was like, you sure? I said, yeah. It was not fine. It was not fine.
So it wasn't 2 credits or?
It was 2 credits. I needed 3. But it's like, anyway, so I had to go take something else.
Yeah.
And like the other thing was history. It was socioeconomic. It's something about the socio. See, now I forgot it. I remembered it literally 2 weeks ago. But the socioeconomics of something, Bahamas, post-colonial, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, oh yeah, I definitely could. I could figure this out or whatever. And so I took that class. That's the only history class I've ever taken since grade 9. And the majority of stuff that you hear me, like if I start bouncing off of stuff, it's either what I learned in that class or what that class sparked in me. So it's like knowing about Burma Road on any level, like you hear the song, but because the song, only one version of the song exists, and that's the Ronnie Butler version. All right? We don't have any further information. Like somebody dead, during that. Right? And like they broke up all the glass on Bay Street. They had to call in the army first. Right? They had a whole commission. It was like that was a thing. And like you will hear people talk about stuff like the general strike. But there's no song about it. So the only niggas who care is taxi drivers.
For sure. And then they don't know what was the fallout from that.
Right.
Like, one thing was John Canoe got canceled for almost a decade after that.
Yeah, but see, that's because you know about John Canoe.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's only niggas, like, if you in the circle, if you already initiated, you know about it. But, like, other people, these are bits of information that they miss out on. And then the problem is it causes frustration on you psychically, because if people tell you that's not how Bahamians are quiet, peaceful people. We
That's
don't do
a lie.
X, Y, and stuff. And so like, and you know that you feeling this frustration and like, oh, that's not how you talk to your boss and blah, blah, blah. Almost every single uprising in the Bahamas had to do with labor disputes and compensation. From whether we talking about slave uprisings, where like literally, oh, y'all want to take away the one vacation day that we have. We supposed to have a 4-day weekend because Christmas fall on a Sunday or something, and y'all give us a 3-day weekend instead. We got a riot. And the slaves uprising on the plantation. And so it's like people don't know about those things. And you keep telling them, oh, Bahamians don't talk loud, Bahamians don't do this, Bahamians don't do that.
Which is all like myth.
Propaganda.
Because it's like, okay, we were taught that we were the passive Negroes and we accepted that ideology.
But and it's never been true on any metric, right? We as human beings, if you push a person in the corner enough times, they're going to push you back.
No, but that's where the whole the hate for Haitians come into play, because you was taught that you're the good passive Negroes,
right?
But then
and
you taught these other set of people it's the magical, mystical Negroes. Stay away from them.
Right? Everything about them wrong. They have the wrong religion, the wrong food, the wrong way of addressing issues. Everything wrong. They speak the wrong language.
Yeah. And then this just is in the era of, okay, they're going around the North America helping people get liberations after they have liberated themselves.
Yeah, so definitely, don't hang out with them.
Yeah, so it's like,
don't hang out with them.
So you graduate 2012.
From COB, yeah.
So during this time, obviously I've seen you, but then your name starts to bubble in different conversations. I mean, I'm not in country at this time. I feel like, me personally, between 2012 and 2017, I don't know what the climate was in the Bahamas, because I was barely here. I was abroad until I came.
It's a medium climate. It was nothing crazy. I think that 2012 the PLP won. So it wasn't nothing crazy. It was a regular climate. I remember thinking Bahama will never open.
Yeah, that was a whole dispute or whatever. And then I think it closed. It opened and then it closed.
They gave up. It was open in the sense that they hired people. I don't think they had gas yet.
Yeah.
And then everybody and then
it had the whole Chapter 11 thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then then that happened when they was fighting over who actually owns it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole but the climate of the country was as it always is, where it's like people are saying things need to change, but at the same time not wanting to be necessarily that change. Now, I will tell you something. The one thing that happened during that time period that, my God, if we are ever to make any giant step again, we must never make this mistake. We need not look for a Moses. Our movements fail because we have a face for them. Having leaders sounds like a good thing, but if you have a system, the leader could die and it can continue. When you look at all these great things that happen and then the leader gets removed, right, whether they shot or bought out or whatever, everything crumbles because everybody wasn't on the same page. I say all to say, I remember I think it was Archon Michael or something, where it started, right?
Yeah.
The We March thing.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who the person was. And I could say that with all of my chest. It wasn't until after the We March that he starts going on talk shows and all this different stuff, whatever, right? And so now he becomes the face of the movement. Had he never been the face of the movement and let the movement replicate itself into different areas, the Bahamas would have a different look right now. Because the political parties, once we figure out who the leader is, I don't know if you remember, but in 2017,
I was back by then.
They
just trying to get reacclimated. So I came back to home December 2016. So now I'm trying to figure out what is what, because I've been away for so long time. So I'm trying to feel the way of the line and see how things is.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening was all the little fringe parties, the various political parties are like, come over here.
Yeah, I remember it because they absorbed. I forget it was a blue party. The
NDP got absorbed in, I think, was that 2012? 2012?
no,
NDP.
no, I think
I think they got absorbed in 2012.
okay, the NDP, and then I remember.
But BDM got absorbed like in 2017 because they got Cassius in there for them. And then it was like all these little fringe, it was a bunch of them, whereas, because even like Travis Robinson was not an F&M. He was the independent for that area. And there's like, come, we ain't got nobody to run here. And then we can lose this anyway. So at least it looked like we support the young people. Yeah. They didn't realize like it was about to switch over that hard.
Yeah.
Right? And so when they took your boy from the We March thing, right? Who this groundswell. I don't know if you remember the pictures and stuff where everybody was basically occupying. I remember
seeing the images. Remember seeing the news report when I think Leslie had come outside to walk along with the people.
Right. And the thing is, so it's like that movement felt organic and it was real. And it was everybody who was there was not there for the same reason, but it was like, as Bahamians, we all have issues that we feel aren't being addressed. Right? But when you set yourself as the leader of it, now everything that you say reflects on the group. And so now it's like, I'm not a part of the group. I'm just a Bahamian. If this remains just a Bahamian thing, then it's fine, right? And if it doesn't have a leader speaking for it, the demands are the demands. We need X, Y, and Z, and like we can have this organic groundswell of change. The same thing happened when in 2011, I think that's when they sold BTC.
Was it 2010? You sure?
It might have been 2010.
Because I don't feel like
it wasn't. It was before election. But
it was before election, but I think it was.
It might have been 2010.
Space of time.
Like maybe they signed it in 2011. But anyway, I remember there was a giant march downtown, and there was this organic groundswell, and all the different. There was a point where even like the different trade unions were like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they realized we have a whole of all this political power. And then the problem came, well, who is going to be the leader? And everything falls apart. We need to get to a point where what is the objective? Because there's no way I could ever support any political movement in the country if it's just going to boil down to this person is our leader.
But that's what most movements boil down to, period. Like, because it's like
that's the problem, though.
Okay, so we can use, for instance, right? Like, okay, like the Nation of Islam, right? You had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He led it to a certain point,
right,
and died, and then it was all this controversy, and then he appointed Louis Farrakhan. All right. Obviously, they had a transition period, and they still recognize Elijah Muhammad as the leader,
right?
But what happens when Farrakhan dies?
I think there's a person there
there's
now.
Probably someone who will succeed, but by now they already built the system. This organization been existing for almost 100 years.
And don't forget, Elijah Muhammad was not the founder. Founder is Fareed.
Yeah, a master. Fareed. I forget what his name is.
Something, but you know, the dude who sell carpets, right?
Yeah.
So but that's what I'm saying. So it's like, if you have a system,
but you still need a leader.
But I'm saying
you don't necessarily need a face.
You don't need a face. You need somebody to go talk. You need a spokesperson. And the spokesperson is interchangeable. The thing is, like, if we know, the problem is being able to articulate what you want is way better than saying, I want change. And I understand that there's a level of frustration, and the frustration is real, and you're saying things aren't right. Life shouldn't be like this. There's something wrong. But if you're not able to articulate what specific thing you want, then it's like anybody can come and say, oh, the reason why you feel like this is because Haitians. The reason why you feel like this is because the government thieving the money. The reason why you feel like this is because this, and this. And they dance around what your specific issue might be. They don't give any actual solutions for what you actually complaining about. If you say, hey, I'll tell you what one of the biggest issues for the average Bahamian is. If you fix this thing, you automatically give everybody who is working a $800 to $2,000 rise in salary per month.
Fix what thing exactly?
Housing.
Okay.
right? And the thing is, if you look at the hierarchy of needs, right? Shelter is on the bottom. Shelter is like water, bro.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a place
shelter,
to live,
yeah.
right? That's not a thing. But the thing is, we've been tricked into thinking, oh, well, it's only so much places to live. No, nigga, we still all are still living on the island. We just don't own nothing. And also, if you look at a map of the island, all us live in the east.
Yeah, majority
because the middle of the island is fusion
and wetland.
Right? But
what you all trying to repurpose?
But I'm saying, like, if you go west is severely underpopulated compared to like the majority of the Bahamian population in New Providence live on the eastern side of the island.
Gladstone, yeah.
Right, and so now it's like if there to fix that would require you doing either a lot of finagling or a lot of offending, right?
But we're going to require more so offending because due to developers from 100 years ago seeing...
They wasn't developers, these niggas who teeth the line. Well, sorry, go ahead. that's my position. Because it's like, and even if you say, oh, well, they bought the line, if you write the law that allows you to buy the line on the cheap, and the other thing, don't forget, back then they used to vote based on who owned line.
Yeah.
But you, the dude in government, and you giving your own self line, so now you stuck in government forever because you ain't gonna not vote for yourself, but only you got a line. Yeah. But you ain't selling the line to the broke niggas. Yeah. You understand? And so like you have a handful of dudes who might have bought some land when colonial governor like Grant or Bain give the Negroes some land in Bain and Grantstown because the white people didn't want no Negroes on Bay Street. And so y'all need to go back over the hill at the end of the night so y'all could buy these little... Them niggas have land. A couple people in the other liberated African settlements, they got land. But now the average person don't have land. They just living in a place. They ain't got no paperwork for it. You are setting a society where only you could win. So, yes, let's pretend that they're developers because their names are on all the real estate companies now. But they wasn't.
No, but why I said it is... It was...
They would be very
They looked at west of Gladstone Road as not beautiful. It's just a bunch of wasteland until one particular person said, okay, well, I can make it look beautiful. But I mentioned that to say, now west of Gladstone Road, they priced everybody out because anything west of Paradise Island is a higher price point because all of that development and hotels and all that thing is, so you can't even look west.
No, that's the thing. And it is wild, but the thing is, there is space for us to live. There is a way for this to happen. If you make up in your mind, if we say, hey, this is necessary, right? Then that will be the goal. And if that's the goal that we all decide that we want to achieve, it don't matter who's saying it. I could croak out and have a heart attack while I'm on stage. Next week, somebody else is going to stand up and say, we still need housing. We still need affordable housing. And the thing is, this whole idea, there's a part of me that's like, I don't understand. Well, I do understand because it's a big decision that you have to make and you have to be able to live with the decision that you're making. So the best person to run the country is probably somebody who has stage 4 terminal cancer and is not afraid of the repercussions of whatever they're about to do. But if you are saying that people need a place to live, and this is a right, and this is a thing that everybody should have, then you shouldn't have to pay for it. As the government, even if you say, well, because the only way for this to work is if you have it secular, otherwise we'll end up with this same problem 2 generations from now, because now if I sell the property to Steven, and he give it to his children, and they give it to their children, then at some point, nobody else have no new property, and then other people ain't gonna be able to get... So no. It's all a pool. This is a joint project. You have access to the land as long as you're using the land. So I have this property. I can use this as long as I do that. And I then pay taxes on the property, right? Change the thing from or you only pay real property tax if you have it if your land is worth this much. Everybody pay real property tax. It will be at percentages and at different levels and different rates. Because if you want to live at the top of the hill inside some fancy place or whatever, sure. If you want to have this many acres, sure. But then that's a different percentage. Now, if you want to have a normal house, it could be so basic that it'll be essentially paying rent, but it'll be low cost rent. I would rather pay $500 a month directly to the government as a tax, but I know I could live here, than having to pay, one day you pay 9, next day it's 12, then they say, oh, next year we're going up to 15, and you ain't have no control over what the landlord saying he raising it to. I know utilities included, and then you know you're going to lose this place because you done put so much into this place, and then everywhere else bad, and then because of where you work, you can't get a mortgage, and so you paying this nigga mortgage for this place and his house. You understand? So it's like
it's a lose. Is there
somebody has to, and the thing is, even a demagogue and a populist party that would be like spouting the most utter nonsense. If the nonsense was something like that, as opposed to saying the issue is Haitians and we're gonna give you $1 million if you vote for us. And it's like, no, these are lies. This is stuff that somebody who doesn't think they will ever win says, and then they might mistakenly win. And there's no way for them to do these things. But yeah, you fix that one thing. If we all on that one accord, or even if because that's more likely, because that's everybody's self-interest, than you saying, okay, let's all fix education. We are not going to complain about anything for the next 12 months except education. That would be great. We're not going to do that.
No.
But we could all get on the same page and say, babe, you will never have to pay rent again in the Bahamas. Because there are countries where it's like, the government will provide you with a place to live. That exists. That's not a fantasy. That's possible. How do we make that work in the Bahamas, right? What's the trade-off? I think the trade-off should be, I do not pay rent. As essentially, I have a lease. The government gives me like a 25-year lease for this thing. I could re-up at the end of the 25 years, depending on my situation. If I get married, I leave this place, and me and the person who I'm married to get a different place that's bigger, so because we intend to have children. And then if when our children leave and we still together, we could go back to a smaller place. Everything is a pool, right? And we just keep cycling and circling. And when we die, the children ain't fighting over it because they got a place already. This goes back in the pool. And all that time, especially during your productive years, you're giving to the government, here's this tax I'm paying for. I'm paying into the system. I could build up the house. I could fix the house, do everything. But I'm paying into the system. I think that's a more realistic thing that you could convince Bahamians of. That's Steven's personal agenda or whatever. But there might be something else that Bahamians think is a greater thing. But if we're not all on the same page,
I think that's the biggest issue. We can't get on the same page because what you're saying is good, but someone always come around and be like, "Well, they did it with the government subdivisions and things like that, or what they've done over the last 40 years." And like the Elizabeth Estates and the Yellow Islands and all these
niggas still have to pay for them stuff, and
then the newer ones that they are actually doing right now.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't have an issue with low cost housing, right?
But low cost housing ain't even low cost because if you have to spend
it's $250,000, bro.
Yeah,
it's $250,000. It's a quarter.
And most of us can't afford it,
right? And it's like that's not $250,000 is not 4 years' salary for anybody in this room. So you understand that? Like you're not making $250,000 in 4 years.
No,
or not everybody. I mean, hopefully in the next 4 years, it'd be great if we could stumble on $250,000. But that's not how it is. So you're right. It's not low cost housing, but
it's low cost compared to the price of real estate now, and that's sky high. So it's like,
and you know what? The way to fix it is, it's a very easy way to fix it.
What's that?
You got to use what the British use, right? Because that's the only way to work on these two systems. Because if you do anything else, they cry to the international community and saying, "Oh, the people and they Bahamian, oh, the other Bahamians are attacking us and they trying to teeth our land." So what you got to do is do what the British do. They had an issue where on the high streets, like essentially Bay Street, the main road, right?
Yeah.
Niggas wasn't using, they had the property and they know this property worth a lot. And instead of them reducing the rent because people couldn't afford. This is like after COVID. People couldn't afford to rent those locations, right? And so a lot of them was closed. So people saying, "Oh, this look bad. You guys are bringing down not just the property value, but the neighborhood.
GDP,
yeah, everything is looking stink, right? Why y'all don't do something about it?" And they're like, "Well, it's $1 million for the rent, and if nobody can afford it, then they'll just stay closed because I ain't losing no money. I's already a millionaire. So you know what you do? Tax it every month that y'all niggas ain't open up. Is this many thousands of pounds? Suddenly, you have an incentive to drop your rent because at least if I rent it for this much, I don't have to pay this tax and I can make at least this, right? Instead of waiting to make $1 million. So now all these niggas who have all these pieces of property, right? You have acres and acres of property undeveloped and you're trying to sell it to somebody for $1 million. For every year that it is not sold, you are going to give us 25% of the value of the property. Now we have enough money to build a house for everybody. Because y'all niggas want all the property that ain't getting sell. Y'all, because everybody trying to sell a $2 million waterfront piece of property to somebody. Okay, you trying to sell it to? Give me $500,000 for the year that you didn't sell it. So now either you're going to sell it and we're going to get the real property tax from that, or you're going to give us the tax directly. And if after 4 years you still ain't sell it, you've now given us the value of the property. And if you don't pay it, then we just seize the proproperty. Like, that's how you got to handle these dudes.
They ain't ready to do
yeah,
that.
but that's
Minutes tried doing something like that. And
no.
Just
See,
like,
he was doing it. He was doing it the wrong way, right? You got to do it. That's what come on Bay Street. We finally get the Hotel Corona to get knocked down. Hotel Corona being up from before I was born. There's never been a time in my life Hotel Corona did not exist.
Yeah.
And they finally knock it down because they're like, listen, either you fix it or whatever. But it gotta go. It can't stay here because this is costing the country money because people come off the cruise ship and they go this way. And so like we're redeveloping. So listen, from the minute they said that, I support this 1,000%. Hey, hit everybody pockets. We know how much this property worth downtown. We know what downtown property worth. This in the millions. And that's why y'all could sit on it. Because y'all like, regardless, if me doing nothing with this property still worth $3 million.
Yeah.
So okay, let's start taxing these niggas.
So Steven's claim is tax them.
Yeah.
Tax them.
I think tax is great. I think so you gotta look at it like what it is.
I get that concept of like, the whole thing with that and having certain tax brackets.
Yeah,
for certain incomes and things like that.
That should never. The only thing is, don't make a ceiling because right now with NIB, you cannot give NIB more than I think like you can't give them $900 per month for benefit for contribution. So there's a ceiling on how much money you could give them, but there's no floor. You could tell NIB, hey, I poor, I'm indigent, I don't even make $10,000 a year, and they're like, yeah, but you still need to run our 9%.
Boy, I was in that position.
But they come after me, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's how come I can pull that number over here. And it's like, listen, bro, I ain't even making $10,000 a year. They're like, okay.
Yeah, they still won.
We still want our money.
I remember it was one year I put up, this was before I actually just fully like got a job and let it come myself. It's like, bro, they was like, I think right before the pandemic, I was like, I gonna just pay $100 a month or whatever, or 100 something. Then the pandemic happened. And I was like, oh, I want to take that number down. And they was like, no, you didn't start paying that amount. You had to carry that through the whole year, bro. And I had to close off my self-employed account with them.
Because of that? Yeah, like, bro, trust me. I 100% understand. But so, like, I believe in tax. You're right with the tax bracket. As we ascend, the further up we go, the more you should be able to contribute to the pool. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how rich you are. If you get injured, the ambulance riding on the same road. Yeah. If somebody break into your house, the same police coming, right? All our money going towards the police, all our money going towards the ambulance, all our money going towards the road. The electricity that coming to you is coming from BEC through the same lamp pole and through the same wire. Yeah, you might be rich, but this a group project. All us in on this together. So it's like, bro, could you imagine you having a family dinner and your rich cousin come talking, but he bring napkins? Like, you don't come on my, don't make me curse you out, dog.
Oh man.
Everybody else bring in big pan, macaroni, they bring in turkey, they bring in ham.
Yeah,
This
and you
nigga,
come with your hand swinging, and it's like, But I think we have. I mean, that sort of leads back to from the marching and being gobbled up politically leads back to our classism issue that we have in countries like ours, where it's like, there's always a vast difference between the haves and the have-nots.
yeah,
And it's like, you try to figure out a way where you want to, like, the method to us having more affordable housing, as you laid out a few minutes ago, is flyable. But it's like you get to a point where you would keep on saying this and try to enact it yourself when you just be like, wait, this ain't make no sense because nobody wants to support it. So you just be like, no, let me just look out for me.
let me get myself on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, yeah, it make it sense. Y'all ain't want fighting for it, and people on top ain't want to change it. So it's like, I just look like the wild man in the wilderness.
Yeah, the ice cream and then everybody saying, bro, let me tell you, Bahamians love, the reason they want a Messiah, they want niggas to die for them. Yeah, they love a nigga to die for them, but it's like, bro, what are you willing to do? Like, I hear the complaints constantly coming, and even you hear politicians saying, oh, ministers just say, oh, we have all the laws we need enforcement. And you hear enforcement and everybody saying, oh, well, the police force this and the defense force this. And you realize, wait, enforcement has never solely been or should never be left solely to the state. Because now you turn it into a police state, all right? Yeah. You want enforcement? Enforcement for littering need to come from in the house and the neighborhood and the community where we say, babe, do not throw nothing inside that bush. Do not do this. Do not. We see
self-policing,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like we self-police ourselves all the time, babe. Like niggas, used to be like, "Oh, don't talk loud when you're on Bay Street." Oh, they what? You remember? You remember this? But like, it was a time where it's like when you go on Bay Street, you got to act a certain way around the tourists, all right? You ain't supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And
man, them rules get thrown out long way.
Yes, but when I was a kid, it was like you could when you on Bay Street. And if somebody started talking, a Bahamian started talking loud, people, when I say frowned upon, somebody might approach you and say, hey, you can't be talking loud around the tourists. You can scare them. So we self-police when we ready.
When it's time to coon.
Right. But are we going to self-police for our own benefit? Because at the end of the day, all these junkyard, bro, we have the BRCA gene giving us cancer. We got the food giving us cancer. Do you think it's going to help if there is a junkyard next door in a residential area where all the alkaline and acid and all these different stuff leaking into the water table? No. So it's like, we got to be the ones to say, hey, do we need to go to physical planning and town planning and say, hey, when did this become zoned for this? This should not be zoned for this. Go to environmental health as a community and say, hey, we need this person moved because they are
not even just junkyard. All these people who got a bunch of cars in their yard just sitting up.
And then, you got to say that gonna be your boy. You must say, listen, are you using these cars because all type of stuff happening? Can we move them? Or is the issue that this is the only place they have? Come to them with the little pamphlet and say, babe, what the place called the thing where BTVI them is the technical, the industrial park.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to be doing, stuff like that. And them dudes will give you access to a piece of property that's a certain size for a certain price. That's where you're supposed to be going. There are avenues and things for these things. It ain't in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it's up to the people in the neighborhood to be saying, okay, we ain't trying to put you out of your business. We understand you got to go make money, whatever. We are saying that it shouldn't be here. Have you ever thought about moving it here? You know what I'm saying? And like, making it happen. And then the thing is, some of y'all don't talk to your neighbors anyway. Y'all don't like these niggas no more. So why don't you scared of now? Just wait, you and this nigga don't talk now. You understand? It ain't like you going to your friend and hurting your friend feelings.
Yeah.
But you like, F this nigga, dog. This guy's all over. You hate the cars.
Yeah.
And the car's literally killing you.
Yeah. I mean, I think I always had a grand concept of like, but we should literally take all the scrap cars and like reuse the parts for metal and things like that and chop it up. Like,
And there are places on this island that do.
oh.
But you don't see them because they're not in the middle of people's neighborhood.
Nah.
Like if you go down Marshall Road, there's a place where it's like, oh, all these cars have been chopped up and dissected. And then people ship off stuff like metal that's valuable. People do stuff. But it's like the nigga who just have cars because it's too expensive for him to get a tow. You understand? Like he is never going to do the right thing with these things. In his head, he's saying, yeah, babe, I still want to work on that 94 Dodge Spirit.
Yeah, for real. How I have this car sitting up. Oh, I can use this for parts.
Right.
15 years later.
Nobody drives this anymore.
Right, I had a neighbor like that. Like, I just had cars rotting inside his yard for years.
Yeah, and they just don't want to let it go. And like, all these are issues these are things that we help with the policing of. We help with the enforcement of the law, right? And so whenever we start turning over that and saying, oh, this on this person or that, all these things hamper any sort of growth and progress. And so, yeah, those are some of the issues that I have when I see people just sitting there, they're miserable. They have complaints about everything, but they have no intention of moving forward with anything.
For sure. Well, I think we need a part 2. Because it's like, I even get into the super deep cut creative stuff. Yeah, it'll be like an hour 30 in.
We did it, guys.
We definitely we got to do a part 2 of this where we talk about like the orange economy and the creative industry.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because I got to get into the stuff about you doing playwrights, writing. And some more of the Tropsy stuff, because I know some other things. Like you written for people and help people, and then you written for them, but then they didn't like sign off for work.
Are you Tropsy?
No, I was told about that.
Yeah.
But we get to that at another time. But thank you again, Steven Hanna, for part 1. We saying this is gonna be part 1. There's gonna be another part 2 for sure coming soon. At least before the year end. Probably.
Do you have a closing? You have a thing?
No,
you got the final.
say? No, we got the final words.
Oh no, I don't have. Because I'll just talk for another hour. That's fine.
So we can bring back Steven back again for sure. Let me put my camera in cue for sure. But y'all take it easy. More Erryting Kool coming on the way, and I about to go get ready to record the other show y'all love. But yeah, you see, we can see y'all later. Mm-hmm.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies.